Hi, my name is Deborah Kennedy, and I'm part of the Studio G Artist in Residence program at Georgetown Children's Hospital. Um, I'm a writer. Actually, more specifically, I am a poet. And so today, what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about the difference between writer and poet. Actually, focus on what a poet is, what a poem is, and kind of get you ready for that. And then there'll be another short video talking about how to find something to write. And that's usually not a problem, but some people get stuck on that. And then the last one will be actually writing the poem. How do you find the words for it? How do you know when you're done? Which is always interesting. And so we'll take it from there. Okay, so today, what's a poem? Well, let's start with what's a book or what's a story. Um, a book usually has like at least several characters, and there's a beginning and a middle where there's like a crisis or an event, and everybody has to figure that out and scurry around. And then there's an ending, and the ending is kind of sometimes has a message, but a lot of times it's really kind of like the beginning of the next story because our lives are just one story after another, right? Well, with a poem, what I try to do anyway is focus on one, maybe two things that I really want to talk about. So, I don't know whether they still do this, but do you all have show and tell? When I was a little kid at school, you could bring something to show and then you tell a story about it. And my very best story, my very best show and tell, was when I was in kindergarten. And my mom let me bring my baby sister for show and tell. And we all sat in a circle and they stuck her right in the middle. And mom turned her around and everybody was just kind of like, oh, it's a baby sister. But I was the only one who could touch her, so that made me special and I thought that was cool. So that's kind of what a poem is. It's like, here's this thing, and this is why it's special. This is why it kind of caught my eye. Here's a story about it. And sometimes those are long. They can be a page, they can be 2 pages, whatever. Or they can be really, really small, like 10, 12 words for a haiku. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's the thing about poetry. It really doesn't matter how long or short. It doesn't matter whether it rhymes or not. It can be whatever you want to be. But for me, a poem really focuses hard in one or two things and says, this is cool, and I want to tell you why. Okay, so poetry is around you whether you know it or not. Um, most song lyrics are poetry in and of themselves. Rap is definitely full of poetry and some of it really, really good. Um, Sometimes what you say is really kind of a poem. You just didn't capture it. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to kind of capture those poems that show up anyway and try to capture the importance of some other things that we can make into poems. So for me, that's the difference. For a novel or a book, there's a lot of different things going on. In a poem, we're really going to focus on one or two